The Testament of Solomon is one of the most intriguing mystical texts, focusing on the spirits of the fallen giants, the offspring of fallen angels and human women. These spirits are distinct from human souls. While human souls rest in their graves awaiting the day of judgment, the spirits of the giants are not bound by such natural laws. They wander the earth, spreading suffering and destruction. The story of King Solomon facing and subduing them has left a profound mark on legendary history. The spirits of the fallen giants. According to legend, these spirits harbor deep-seated hatred for humanity. In life, they were fierce warriors, sowing chaos and bloodshed. Even after their deaths, their hostility did not fade but continued to torment mankind. These spirits possessed the ability to inhabit human bodies, physical objects, and even inanimate matter, making them a persistent and dangerous threat. With the wisdom and power granted to him by God, King Solomon was able to summon these spirits, capture them, and imprison them in magically sealed vessels. Each captured spirit was bound by Solomon's legendary ring, an artifact imbued with the power to control spirits and demons. The story of the boy and the demon Ornias. One day, as the temple of the Lord was being constructed in Jerusalem, a demon named Ornias appeared at sunset. He harassed the workers, particularly a young apprentice whom King Solomon cherished. Ornias not only stole half of the boy's wages and food each day but also sucked his thumb, leaving him increasingly emaciated. Noticing the boy's frail condition, King Solomon summoned him to inquire about his situation. Solomon asked, "Do I not care for you more than all the other workers? Do I not pay you double wages and provide double food? Why then are you growing so thin?" The boy, full of gratitude and respect, replied, "My lord, each evening, after we finish our work and return to rest, a demon comes. He takes half of my wages, half of my food, and each night sucks my thumb. This leaves me weary, with my soul burdened and my body growing weaker by the day." Hearing this, King Solomon was filled with compassion and resolved to protect the boy and rid humanity of such malevolent forces. He entered the temple of the Lord, praying day and night, seeking God's strength and guidance to subdue these wicked spirits. With unwavering faith, Solomon embarked on his mission, armed with divine wisdom and the power of his magical ring, to confront Ornias and other demonic entities that threatened the lives and well-being of humanity. The divine gift, Solomon's ring. During his prayers, King Solomon received divine guidance and a gift from the Lord Sabaoth through the Archangel Michael. The angel presented Solomon with a small ring engraved with the symbol of the pentalpha, also known as the seal of God. Michael proclaimed, "O Solomon, king and son of David, receive this gift from the Most High. With this ring, you shall command all evil spirits on earth, whether male or female. They will serve you in the construction of Jerusalem. But you must always carry this ring as a symbol of God's authority." This ring granted Solomon the power to summon, control, and imprison all spirits, even the most powerful demons. It became the key to his legendary wisdom and ability to overcome the forces of darkness. Capturing Ornias. Armed with the ring, Solomon summoned the demon Ornias, who had been tormenting the young boy. Under the ring's authority, Ornias confessed to his crimes, admitting not only to harassing the boy but also to sowing hatred and suffering among humanity. Using the ring, Solomon forced Ornias into submission, compelling him to assist in constructing the temple of the Lord. Once the temple was completed, Solomon sealed Ornias in a bronze vessel, ensuring that the demon could no longer harm mankind. The Knights Templar's discovery. After Solomon's death, the sacred artifacts and vessels containing the imprisoned spirits were forgotten within the temple. Centuries later, the Knights Templar, renowned for their quests and explorations, spent nearly a decade excavating Solomon's temple. Their search led them to discover the vessels holding the demons and the powerful ring of Solomon. When the Knights brought these artifacts back to Europe, they were honored and enriched by the Catholic Church. Their newfound power allowed them to create the foundations of the modern banking system, enabling them to control the finances of many nations. However, the Templars did not stop at financial control. They began leveraging the imprisoned spirits to intimidate and manipulate nobility, even following through on threats by unleashing the demons. This misuse of their power eventually led to their downfall. The fall of the Knights Templar. The Catholic Church, wary of their increasing influence and accused allegiance to demonic forces, turned against the Templars. On Friday, the 13th, many members were arrested and burned at the stake for heresy. However, some Templars escaped persecution, taking with them the secrets and power they had uncovered. It is believed that these survivors later founded clandestine organizations such as the Freemasons and the Illuminati, perpetuating their influence from the shadows. Solomon's legacy. During Solomon's reign, his unparalleled wisdom and power over spirits became legendary. One pivotal moment came when he was granted the ring by the Archangel Michael. The Archangel's words emphasized both the gift's potential and the responsibility it carried. With this ring, you hold dominion over the spirits of the air, earth, and underworld. They will aid you, but you must wield this power with humility and as a servant of the Lord. The ring, the spirits it subdued, and the grand temple built through their labor became symbols of Solomon's divine favor and wisdom. Yet, they also serve as a cautionary tale about the consequences of misusing such gifts, as seen in the fate of the Knights Templar centuries later. Through his actions, King Solomon demonstrated that even the most formidable forces of darkness could be subdued by divine authority. His legacy, captured in the Testament of Solomon, continues to inspire awe and reflection on the balance between power, responsibility, and faith. Following the angel's guidance. Hearing the angel's words, Solomon rejoiced, glorifying and praising the Lord of heaven and earth. The next day, he summoned the young apprentice who had been tormented by the demon Ornias and handed him the ring. Solomon instructed, "When the demon comes at its usual hour, throw this ring at its chest and say, 'In the name of the Lord, King Solomon summons you here. Then run to me immediately without fear, no matter what you hear from the demon.'" The boy obeyed Solomon's instructions. When Ornias appeared, blazing with fire to claim the boy's wages and food, the boy threw the ring at its chest and declared, "In the name of King Solomon, you are summoned here." Ornias screamed in pain, begging the boy, "Take this ring off me, and I will give you all the gold and silver on earth. Just spare me, do not take me to Solomon." However, the boy remained steadfast, replying, "By the name of the Lord of Israel, I will not spare you. Follow me to meet the king." Overjoyed, the boy ran to Solomon and informed him that the demon was waiting at the palace gates. Confronting Ornias. Trembling and terrified, Ornias stood outside, pleading incessantly. When Solomon came out, he asked, "Who are you?" The demon replied, "I am Ornias." Solomon continued, "Tell me, under which zodiac sign do you fall?" Ornias answered, "I am under the sign of Aquarius. I strangle those who are infatuated with noble virgins of the earth. If someone struggles with sleeplessness, I transform into 3 different forms. When men are captivated by women, I become a beautiful woman and seduce them in their dreams. Then I take to the skies. At times, I appear as a lion and command other spirits. However, I am subdued by the Archangel Uriel, the power of the Lord." Hearing the name of Uriel, Solomon prayed and glorified the Lord, creator of heaven and earth. He then used the seal of the ring to bind Ornias, forcing him to work on the construction of the temple. Ornias' task was to cut stones from the shores of Arabia, where massive rocks were transported for the temple's construction. Ornias' plea. Terrified of iron tools, Ornias begged Solomon, "O King Solomon, set me free, and I will bring all the other spirits of evil to you." Solomon was not easily swayed. He prayed to the Archangel Uriel for assistance. Uriel descended from heaven, commanding the whales of the deep abyss to appear and enforce Ornias' destiny along with that of other spirits. Uriel then ordered Ornias and the other spirits to serve Solomon in building the temple. Overwhelmed by the power of the Lord and his angels, Ornias reluctantly complied and continued his assigned tasks. Summoning the leader of all demons. With the ring's power, Solomon summoned Beelzebul, the leader of all demons, and one by one, he sealed the spirits, compelling them to serve in the construction of Jerusalem and the temple of the Lord. Each time Solomon sealed a spirit, he prayed, glorified, and praised the Lord, acknowledging that all his power came from God's grace. The wisdom and power of Solomon. In the pages that follow in the Testament of Solomon, the story unfolds how King Solomon, using the wisdom and authority granted by God, confronted the fallen spirits, particularly Beelzebul, the prince of demons. His unwavering faith and reliance on divine power allowed him to subdue these malevolent entities and use them to fulfill the sacred task of building the temple of the Lord, a testament to his dedication and the supremacy of God. The summoning of Beelzebul. After Ornias, the first demon subdued by Solomon, was sealed, the king commanded him to take the powerful ring to Beelzebul, the prince of demons. Ornias conveyed Solomon's command. "Solomon summons you." Beelzebul, startled, replied, "Who is Solomon that dares to command me?" But when Ornias threw the ring at his chest and repeated the order, Beelzebul let out a thunderous cry, spewing fiery flames. Despite his resistance, Beelzebul was ultimately subdued and followed Ornias to Solomon's court. When Beelzebul appeared before him, Solomon glorified and praised the Lord, creator of heaven and earth, for granting him the power to subdue such a mighty demon. Solomon asked, "Who are you?" Beelzebul responded, "I am Beelzebub, the prince of demons. All unclean spirits are under my command, and I reveal the forms of every demon." Beelzebul pledged to bring all unclean spirits to Solomon, who once again glorified God for his wisdom and mercy. The encounter with Oneschiles. Curious, Solomon asked Beelzebul if there were female demons among them. When Beelzebul confirmed, Solomon requested one to be brought to him. Beelzebul promptly summoned Oneschiles, a female demon with alluring beauty, fair skin, and a captivating presence. When Solomon asked, "Who are you?" Oneschiles replied, "I am Oneschiles, a spirit that has been shaped and roams the earth. My dwelling places are caves, ravines, and cliffs. Sometimes, I take on a human form to seduce men, particularly those with dark skin, for they unknowingly worship my star, harming themselves without realizing it." When Solomon inquired about her origin, Oneschiles explained, "I was born from a strange echo, like the sound of a person falling into an abyss." Solomon pressed further, asking which star influenced her. She responded, "My star is the moon, for it traverses many things." Solomon then asked, "Which angel can subdue you?" She answered, "The one who rules over you." Believing she was mocking him, Solomon ordered his soldiers to strike her. Oneschiles cried out, "I am already subdued under your authority, through the wisdom God has given you and by the angel Joel. Solomon commanded her to spin ropes for the construction of the temple. Bound and sealed by Solomon, Ornias worked tirelessly, day and night, as ordered. The confrontation with Asmodeus. Soon after, Solomon summoned another demon named Asmodeus, who was brought to him in chains. Solomon questioned, "Who are you?" Asmodeus, glaring angrily, retorted, "Who are you to ask me?" Solomon, undeterred, replied, "You are punished and still dare to answer me in such a way." With a scornful smile, Asmodeus responded, "I do not need to answer you because you are merely the son of a man. I, however, was born from the bloodline of an angel with a daughter of man. My star shines brightly in the heavens, known by names such as the Great Bear or the Dragon's Child. So, do not question me too much, for your kingdom will soon fall, and your power will last only for a short time. When that time comes, we will be free, and mankind will worship us as gods, unaware that angels are ruling over us." Solomon's wisdom and power. Through his encounters with Beelzebul, Ornias, and Asmodeus, Solomon demonstrated his unwavering faith in God and his reliance on divine wisdom. Each confrontation revealed the nature of the demons, their powers, and their weaknesses, underscoring Solomon's role as a servant of the Lord tasked with maintaining order and righteousness. Despite their defiance, the demons could not resist the authority of the ring and the power of God. Solomon's ability to subdue and utilize them for the construction of the temple of the Lord stands as a testament to his wisdom and God's grace. These accounts serve as a reminder of the eternal struggle between good and evil and the ultimate triumph of divine authority. The subjugation of Asmodeus. After summoning and binding Asmodeus, one of the most powerful demons, King Solomon began interrogating him. With the power of his magical ring, Solomon ordered Asmodeus to be tied with strips of oxhide and flogged to compel him to reveal his identity and true purpose. In agony, Asmodeus confessed, "I am called Asmodeus by humankind. My task is to disrupt the happiness of newlyweds, making them unable to understand each other and separating them through successive calamities. I also diminish the beauty of virgin girls and turn their hearts cold." Solomon pressed further. "Is that all you do?" Asmodeus replied, "No, I also drive men mad with lust, causing them to abandon their wives and pursue women belonging to others. This leads to adultery and eventually to acts of murder." Using the authority granted by God, Solomon demanded Asmodeus to reveal which angel could subdue him. Asmodeus responded, "I am subdued by the Archangel Raphael, who stands before the throne of God. The burning of the liver and gall of a fish on the ashes of a tamarisk tree drives me away." Solomon inquired further, "What kind of fish terrifies you so much?" Asmodeus answered, "It is the glanos fish, found in the rivers of Assyria. Therefore, I often wander in that region." When Solomon continued to test Asmodeus, the demon pleaded, "O King Solomon, do not condemn me to the water." However, Solomon, with a smile, declared, "By the Lord of my ancestors, you will be bound in iron and made to prepare clay for the entire construction of the temple. You will also carry water in 10 jars. Asmodeus groaned in pain but had no choice but to comply with Solomon's orders. Though powerful and dangerous, Asmodeus was subdued under the authority of God through Solomon's wisdom and divine ring. The encounter with Beelzebul. After subjugating Asmodeus, Solomon summoned Beelzebul, the prince of demons, for further questioning. Solomon placed Beelzebul on a high seat and asked, "Why are you here alone, prince of demons?" Beelzebul replied, "I was the first angel of the first heaven, once known as Beelzebul. But now, I rule over all who are imprisoned in Tartarus. I also have a child who roams the Red Sea. He comes to me to recount what he has done, and when the time is right, he will rise again in triumph." Solomon then asked, "What is your role?" Beelzebul responded, "I destroy kings and bring devastation through tyrants. I send my demons to be worshipped by mankind, leading them astray and corrupting their souls. I cause priests and the faithful to commit sins, engage in heresies, and perform unlawful acts. I stir up envy, incite murder, provoke wars, and spread immorality. I bring hatred, conflict, and battles. My ultimate goal is to destroy the world." Solomon's wisdom. Through his interactions with Asmodeus and Beelzebul, Solomon demonstrated the divine wisdom and power bestowed upon him. He uncovered the destructive purposes of these demons, subdued them, and forced them to serve in building the temple of the Lord. The encounters also highlighted Solomon's unwavering faith and reliance on the authority of God to overcome the forces of evil. Beelzebul and the mysteries of the evening star. In another confrontation, Solomon continued questioning Beelzebul, the prince of demons, about his powers and connections with other entities. When asked about his son, Beelzebul refused to disclose specific details and only said, "My son dwells deep beneath the sea and will come to you when commanded. But his name I cannot reveal." When Solomon inquired about the star under which he resided, Beelzebul replied, "I dwell under the star that humans call the evening star." He also revealed that he was subdued by the power of God, represented by various names. In Hebrew, it is a numerical sum of 644, in Greek, it is Emmanuel, and in Latin, it is Aleth. Beelzebul stated that if anyone invoked him by these names, he would immediately vanish. Solomon was astonished by this information and ordered Beelzebul to continue sawing marble from Thebes for the construction of the temple. Seeing their leader subdued, the other demons wailed in despair, but they were powerless to intervene. Solomon further interrogated Beelzebul about celestial knowledge. Beelzebul revealed that if one burned a mixture of resin, frankincense, sea bulbs, and saffron while lighting 7 lamps during an earthquake, they would see celestial dragons pulling the chariot of the sun. Solomon, hearing this, rebuked him for his deceit and ordered him to resume his assigned work. Tephras, the spirit of ashes. After dealing with Beelzebul, Solomon summoned another spirit. A peculiar spirit appeared, with a face towering into the air while its body coiled like a snail. The spirit created a fierce dust storm that terrified Solomon's soldiers. But the king stood firm, spat on the ground, and used his magical ring to seal the spirit. Immediately, the dust storm ceased. Solomon asked, "Who are you, spirit of dust and wind?" The spirit replied, "I am Tephras, the spirit of ashes. I bring darkness upon men, set fields on fire, and destroy homes. I am most active in summer, but I also creep into the corners of walls day and night. I am the offspring of a great entity." When Solomon asked about the star under which Tephras resided, the spirit answered, "I dwell at the tip of the moon's horn when the moon appears in the south. I am also tasked with restraining the convulsions of the 3-day fever, and many pray to me using these 3 names, Boltala, Thalal, Melkal." Solomon then asked, "How do you harm, and under whose assistance?" Tephras replied, "I perform my deeds with the aid of the Archangel Azazel." Hearing this, Solomon summoned the Archangel Azazel to subdue Tephras. Once subdued, Solomon sealed the spirit and ordered it to carry large stones to the builders working on the higher sections of the temple. Forced by Solomon's authority, Tephras obeyed. Thus, another malevolent spirit was brought under control and made to contribute to the sacred task of building the temple of the Lord. The dog-shaped spirit, Rabdos. Solomon next summoned a spirit that appeared as a massive dog with a thunderous voice. The spirit greeted him. "Hail, King Solomon!" Astonished, Solomon asked, "Who are you?" The spirit replied, "I appear as a dog, but before you were born, I was a man. I committed many unholy deeds on earth. I was so powerful that I could halt the stars in their courses and perform many divine works." Solomon inquired further, "What is your name?" The spirit responded, "I am Rabdos, the staff." Solomon continued, "What do you do, and what effects can you cause?" Rabdos answered, "I can lead people to a high mountain, where there lies a strange green stone that you can use to adorn the temple of the Lord." Solomon ordered a servant to accompany Rabdos, carrying the magical ring to seal both the stone and the spirit it found. When the green stone was located and sealed, the servant brought Rabdos back. Solomon commanded Rabdos to guard the headless spirit, using both of them to provide constant light for the laborers working day and night. Solomon took 200 shekels from the green stone to create bases for the incense table in the temple and sealed the treasure of the stone. The lion-shaped spirit. After Rabdos, Solomon summoned another spirit that appeared in the form of a roaring lion. The spirit declared, "O king, I am a spirit, and this lion form represents my strength. However, I cannot act without the permission of higher powers." The lion spirit, Wrath. Solomon summoned yet another lion-shaped spirit, this one calling itself Wrath. The spirit, exuding immense strength, said, "I spread illness. I weaken humans and deteriorate their health. Yet, I also have the power to cast out other spirits and command a legion of demons. I can bring them to my dwelling." Solomon asked the spirit for its name and how it could be subdued. Wrath replied, "I am subdued by the Son of Man, who will suffer at the hands of men. His name is Emmanuel, signified by the number 644. He will come and punish us." Hearing this, Solomon glorified God and commanded Wrath and his legion to bring wood from the forest for the construction of the temple. Wrath himself was ordered to use his teeth to cut the wood into smaller pieces for the furnace. The three-headed dragon. Following Wrath, Solomon summoned another spirit, which appeared as a fearsome three-headed dragon. Solomon asked, "Who are you?" The spirit replied, "I am a spirit like a sharp thorn. My activity is divided into 3 parts. I blind children in their mother's womb, twist their ears, and make them deaf and mute. With my 3rd head, I infiltrate the human body, causing convulsions, foaming at the mouth, and teeth grinding." Through his encounters with these spirits, Solomon continued to demonstrate his divine wisdom and authority, subjugating these entities and compelling them to serve in building the temple of the Lord. The dog-shaped spirit, Rabdos. Solomon summoned another spirit, which appeared as a massive dog with a booming voice. The spirit greeted Solomon. "Hail, King Solomon!" Astonished, Solomon asked, "Who are you?" The spirit replied, "I appear as a dog, but before you were born, I was a human. I committed many unholy deeds on earth. I was so powerful that I could halt the stars in their courses and perform great divine works." Solomon continued, "What is your name?" The spirit answered, "I am Rabdos, the staff." Then Solomon asked, "What do you do, and what effects can you cause?" Rabdos replied, I can lead you to a high mountain where there is a strange green stone you can use to adorn the temple of the Lord. Solomon ordered a servant to accompany Rabdos, carrying the magical ring to seal both the stone and the spirit it found. When the green stone was located and sealed, the servant brought Rabdos back. Solomon commanded Rabdos to guard the headless spirit and use their combined powers to provide continuous light for the laborers working day and night. Solomon took 200 shekels from the green stone to create bases for the incense table in the temple and sealed the stone's treasure. The lion-shaped spirit. After Rabdos, Solomon summoned another spirit that appeared as a roaring lion. The spirit declared, "O king, I am a spirit, and this lion form represents my strength. But I cannot act without the permission of higher powers." The lion spirit, Wrath. Solomon summoned another lion-shaped spirit, this one calling itself Wrath. The spirit exuded immense power and said, "I spread sickness. I weaken humans and deteriorate their health. Yet, I also have the power to cast out other spirits and command a legion of demons. I can bring them to my dwelling." Solomon asked for the spirit's name and how it could be subdued. Wrath replied, "I am subdued by the Son of Man, who will suffer at the hands of humankind. His name is Emmanuel, signified by the number 644. He will come and punish us." Hearing this, Solomon glorified God and commanded Wrath and his legion to bring wood from the forest for constructing the temple. Wrath himself was ordered to use his teeth to cut the wood into smaller pieces for the furnace. The three-headed dragon. After Wrath, Solomon summoned another spirit, which appeared as a fearsome three-headed dragon. Solomon asked, "Who are you?" The spirit replied, "I am a spirit like a sharp thorn. My activity is divided into 3 parts. I blind children in their mother's wombs, twist their ears, making them deaf and mute. With my 3rd head, I infiltrate the human body, causing convulsions, foaming at the mouth, and teeth grinding." Solomon asked how this spirit could be subdued, and it replied, "I am subdued by the angel of great counsel, who now resides on the cross in the place called Jerusalem." The spirit also revealed the existence of a large column brought from the Red Sea by a spirit named Ephippus and directed Solomon to a hidden treasure of gold at the temple's entrance. Solomon sent his servant to verify and found the treasure as described. Using his magical ring, Solomon sealed the spirit and commanded it to make bricks for building the temple. Through these encounters, Solomon continued to exercise his God-given wisdom and authority, turning even the most fearsome spirits into laborers for the Lord's temple. The female spirit, Lilith, Obiseth. Next, Solomon summoned another spirit, appearing as a woman with disheveled hair, lacking arms and legs, and exuding an air of defiance. When Solomon asked, "Who are you?" the spirit replied, "Who are you to question me? Here I stand, bound before you. If you wish to know, go into your treasury, wash your hands, and return to ask me." Solomon followed her instructions, then sat down and asked again, "Who are you?" The spirit responded, "I am called Obiseth, Lilith. By night, I do not sleep but wander the world, particularly where women are in labor." Lilith, Obiseth, the spirit who harms children. Solomon summoned a malicious spirit with a bizarre appearance, known as Obiseth, Lilith. Her body was cloaked in darkness, her eyes glowed a bright green, and her hair was wild, resembling a dragon's head. Lilith declared, "My sole task is to harm children, making them deaf, blinding their eyes, silencing their mouths, and causing pain to their bodies. If I fail to kill a child during the night, I move on to another place until I succeed. Solomon asked which angel could subdue Lilith. She replied, "I am subdued by the angel Raphael, known as Apharat. If anyone writes his name on a woman in labor, I cannot enter that place. His name is represented by the number 640. Upon hearing this, Solomon glorified God and ordered Lilith's hair to be bound and hung her before the temple for the people of Israel to see and glorify God. The winged dragon with a human face. Another spirit appeared, resembling a dragon with wings but bearing a human face and hands. Solomon asked, "Who are you, spirit, and where do you come from?" The spirit replied, "I am a spirit who was once worshipped as a god, but now I am subdued by your ring and wisdom. I am known as the winged dragon. I often transform to mate with women connected to the star Tuxalu. My offspring are filled with lust, but because they are too powerful, the mothers usually miscarry." When the spirit breathed fire and burned the wood in the temple, Solomon was astonished but glorified God. When asked which angel subdued this spirit, it responded, "I am subdued by the angel Bazazeth, who dwells in the second heaven." Solomon summoned the angel Bazazeth to subdue the spirit and commanded it to cut marble for building the temple. Enipsigos, the spirit with multiple forms. Next, Solomon summoned another spirit, appearing as a woman with 2 heads and extra hands growing from her shoulders. When asked, she replied, "I am Enipsigos, a spirit with many forms and names. I can change my shape, resembling the goddesses worshipped by mankind. My abode is the moon." When Solomon asked which angel subdued her, she evaded the question, claiming her ability to transform continuously allowed her to escape control. Despite this, Solomon used his wisdom and the power of his ring to subdue her and commanded her to work for the temple's construction. Enipsigos, the shape-shifting spirit. Solomon summoned Enipsigos, a spirit capable of taking 3 different forms. She declared, "I can transform into Kronos or another form, and my essence is indefinable. However, I am subdued by the angel Raphael, who resides in the 3rd heaven." Solomon prayed to God and sealed Enipsigos with a chain of 3 rings. Before her sealing, Enipsigos prophesied, "Your kingdom will fall, this temple will be destroyed by the king of the Persians, Medes, and Chaldeans. The vessels containing the spirits will be broken, and we will lead the world into deception until the Son of God is crucified. He will subdue all of us." Although Solomon heard her words, he did not believe them until the events unfolded. Before his death, he wrote this testament to guide the children of Israel in dealing with malevolent spirits. Cynospastin, the spirit of the sea. Another spirit appeared, with the front half resembling a horse and the back half a fish, speaking with a loud voice. It introduced itself. "I am the spirit of the sea, greedy for gold and silver. I transform into waves, overturn ships, and drown men. I do not keep their bodies but cast them out of the sea." The spirit continued, "I also take on human form and am called Cynospastin. When I interact with humans, I cause nausea and disturb their peace. Beelzebul bound me and delivered me to you." When Solomon asked which angel subdued it, Cynospastin replied, "I am subdued by the angel Iameth." Hearing this, Solomon sealed the spirit in a jar filled with seawater, secured it with asphalt and cement, and placed the jar in the temple. The spirit from the time of the giants. Solomon summoned another spirit, which resembled a human with glowing eyes and carried a sword. The spirit introduced itself. "I am a lascivious spirit, born from a giant slain in their era. I often take the form of the dead and linger near graves. If I catch anyone, I destroy them with my sword. When Solomon asked which angel subdued it, the Spirit answered, "The one who will become the Savior, bearing his sign. If anyone writes that sign upon themselves, I will tremble and retreat." Solomon sealed this spirit and commanded it to serve in constructing the temple. The 36 spirits, rulers of darkness. Finally, Solomon summoned 36 spirits, who appeared in human forms but bore heads resembling dogs, donkeys, oxen, and birds. When Solomon questioned them, they replied, "We are the 36 elements, rulers of the darkness of this world. But, O King Solomon, you cannot impose commands or imprison us, for your power is insufficient to do so." The Testament of Solomon, confronting the spirits of the zodiac. In another confrontation, Solomon summoned spirits representing the 12 zodiac signs. These entities confessed to causing illnesses, suffering, and conflicts in human lives. Below are their admissions and the names of the angels who subdue them. Aries, Ruax causes headaches and mental idleness. Subdued by the angel Michael. Taurus, Barsaphiel brings migraines. Subdued by Gabriel. Gemini, Arodacele injures eyes severely. Subdued by Uriel. Cancer, Util causes deafness. Subdued by Uriel. Leo, Sphendanael inflicts throat and neck issues. Subdued by Sabril. Virgo, Sphander weakens shoulders and paralyzes hands. Subdued by Arail. Libra, Bel distorts minds and hearts. Subdued by Arail. Scorpio, Curtail causes abdominal pain. Subdued by Iath. Sagittarius, Metathiax causes kidney pain. Subdued by Adoniel. Capricorn, Catanicotail brings strife and discord in homes. Subdued by Ieo, sons of Sabaoth. Aquarius, Saphothoriel incites partisanship. Subdued by Iaco, yellow, Iolet. Pisces, Bothothel causes nervous illnesses. Subdued by Adoniel. Solomon used the names of these angels to subdue the spirits, commanding them to serve in building the temple. Through his wisdom and the power granted by God, Solomon subdued the rulers of darkness and ensured peace for his kingdom. The zodiac spirits and their influence. Ruax, Aries. Harm, causes mental laziness and loss of focus. Angel of subjugation, Michael, imprison Ruax. Barsaphiel, Taurus. Harm, induces severe headaches and migraines. Angel of subjugation, Gabriel, imprison Barsaphiel. Arodacele, Gemini. Harm, severely damages the eyes. Angel of subjugation, Uriel, imprison Arodacele. Util, Cancer. Harm, causes hearing loss and deafness. Angel of subjugation, Uriel, imprison Util. Sphendanael, Leo. Harm, causes inflammation of the salivary glands, swollen tonsils, and tetanic seizures. Angel of subjugation, Sabril, imprison Sphendanael. Sphander, Virgo. Harm, weakens shoulders, causes tremors, paralyzes hand nerves, fractures the neck, and drains bone marrow. Angel of subjugation, Barail, imprison Sphander. Bel, Libra. Harm, distorts human hearts and minds, leading to psychosis. Angel of subjugation, Barail, imprison Bel. Curtail, Scorpio. Harm, causes severe abdominal pain and cramps. Angel of subjugation, Iath, imprison Curtail. Metathiax, Sagittarius. Harm, induces back pain and kidney aches. Angel of subjugation, Adoniel, imprison metathiax. Catanico tail, Capricorn. Harm, creates familial discord and triggers hot tempers. Subjugation method, write the angel's name along with the phrases, Iae, Ieo, sons of Sabaoth, on 7 bay leaves. Soak them in water and sprinkle the water throughout the house. Saphothorial, Aquarius. Harm, causes divisions and encourages drunkenness. Angels of subjugation, Iaco, Yellow, Iolet, Sabaoth. Bauble, Pisces. Harm, induces nervous disorders through relentless attacks. Angel of subjugation, Adoniel, imprison Bauble. Additional spirits. Cumiatal. Harm, causes trembling and paralysis. Angel of subjugation, Zoroel, imprison Cumiatal. Rolled. Harm, induces cold, frost, and stomach pain. Angel of subjugation, Iax, do not delay, Solomon is more just. The Testament of Solomon, curses and remedies. Through divine wisdom and the power of his magical ring, Solomon identified and subdued these spirits, each representing afflictions and conflicts that plagued humanity. For each spirit, a specific angel or method of subjugation was revealed, ensuring their harm could be countered. Solomon's testament served as a guide, teaching future generations to confront malevolent entities and remain steadfast in faith. The spirits and their effects. Atrax. Harm, causes severe and incurable fevers. Solution, apply a paste of crushed coriander on the patient's lips and recite. O fever from the dirt, I expel you by the throne of the Most High God. Depart from his creation. Yerapeel. Harm, induces seizures when the victim is bathing or walking. Solution, whisper the words, I utilize, Sabyun, Deno, 3 times into the patient's right ear. Buldamek. Harm, creates discord between husbands and wives, causing familial divisions. Solution, write the following on a piece of paper. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob commands you to leave this house in peace. Naoth. Harm, sits on men's knees and causes intense pain. Solution, write. Fnunobil, depart from Nathath and touch not the neck. Mardero. Harm, induces incurable fevers. Solution, write the following on a book leaf. Sphener, Raphael, depart, drag me not, flay me not. Aleph. Harm, causes coughing and breathing difficulties in children. Solution, write. Rorex, pursue Aleph. Nephthada. Harm, causes kidney pain and difficulty urinating. Solution, inscribe on a tin plate. Iathoth, Uruel, Nephthada. Acton. Harm, causes back and rib pain. Solution, inscribe on a copper piece salvaged from a lost ship. Marmaroth, Sabaoth, pursue Acton. Anatreth. Harm, causes inflammation and severe intestinal fever. Solution, speak the words. Arara, Charera. Enaneth. Harm, drives people insane, alters their hearts, and causes tooth loss. Solution, write. Alazol, pursue Enaneth. Pheth. Harm, causes tuberculosis and bleeding. Solution, recite. I expel you by the 11th Aeon, stop now, Pheth, Axiopheth. Harpax. Harm, causes insomnia. Solution, write the word kokphnidismus and tie it around the patient's temples. Anoster. Harm, causes uterine and bladder pain. Solution, mix 3 bay leaves with pure oil, apply to the affected area, and say, I expel you, Anoster. Stop by Marmoreo. Alaborith. Harm, causes choking on fish bones while eating. Solution, retrieve a piece of fish bone and cough strongly. Hephasimerath. Harm, induces lingering diseases. Solution, sprinkle salt rubbed into the hands into oil, apply it to the patient and say, Seraphim, cherubim, help me. Ichthion. Harm, paralyzes muscles and causes bruising. Solution, say, Adoneth, help me. Iconian. Harm, harms newborns and inhabits cliffs. Solution, write the word Lycurgos on fig leaves, remove 1 letter at a time, and write the remaining letters backward. Autothith. Harm, incites hatred and arguments. Solution, invoke symbols of unity and faith to counteract its influence. Thenoth, spirit of malice. Harm, causes harm through an evil eye. Solution, draw a symbol of an eye, causing the spirit to suffer and retreat. Byanakith, spirit of destruction. Harm, decays the body and destroys homes. Solution, write on the front door of the house. Melto, Ardu, Aneth. Wisdom from the Testament of Solomon. Each spirit, upon being summoned by Solomon, revealed its nature, the harm it caused, and the divine method or angel capable of subduing it. Solomon's divine wisdom and faith in God allowed him to provide remedies for these spiritual afflictions, ensuring protection for humanity from their malevolent influences. Solomon, with his divine wisdom and the power of the ring, bound the spirits he summoned. Some were tasked with carrying water, performing heavy labor, metallurgy, and contributing to the construction of the temple. Others were imprisoned in secure dungeons specifically designed to contain them. Peace during Solomon's reign. With the spirits subdued, Solomon enjoyed a reign of peace and prosperity. The temple of the Lord was completed, a magnificent structure that drew kings from across the world. These rulers brought gifts of gold, silver, precious woods, and other materials to enhance the temple's splendor. Among them was the Queen of the South, a skilled sorceress. She came to test Solomon's wisdom and, upon hearing his teachings, praised the God of Israel and marveled at his unparalleled intellect. The story of the father and son. One day, an elderly craftsman came before Solomon, pleading for justice. He said, "O King Solomon, I have but one son. He insults me, beats me, and even threatens to kill me. I beg you to restore justice." Moved by compassion, Solomon summoned the son for questioning. The son denied the accusations and pleaded for mercy. "O king, I would never dare to show such disrespect to my father." Solomon advised the father to forgive his son, but the elderly man refused and demanded punishment. As Solomon prepared to make a ruling, Ornias, one of the spirits Solomon had previously sealed, began to laugh aloud. Enraged, Solomon summoned Ornias and demanded an explanation. The spirit replied, "O king, I was not laughing at you but at the tragic fate of this father and son. In 3 days, the son will die suddenly, and this old man will be cursed for seeking unnecessary vengeance." The prophecy and its fulfillment. Solomon, astonished by Ornias's words, chose not to intervene. As foretold, the son died 3 days later, leaving the father in deep regret and sorrow. This event reminded Solomon of the limits of his power, for even his divine wisdom and authority could not alter the fate decreed by the Lord. The confrontation with Ornias. Following the son's death, Solomon summoned Ornias to question him further about his foreknowledge. The Spirit revealed. We, the malevolent spirits, ascend to the heavens and circle the stars. We overhear the judgments pronounced upon human souls. Then we descend to execute acts of destruction, through fire, swords, accidents, or other means. If we cannot cause sudden death, we assume other forms to be worshipped by humans. Ornias's confession deepened Solomon's understanding of the spiritual realm and the vast influence of divine will over the fates of men. A lesson in divine sovereignty. The tale of the father and son, coupled with Ornias's revelations, underscored an eternal truth for Solomon: no matter how great a ruler's wisdom and power may be, the ultimate authority over life, death, and destiny rests solely with God. Solomon, in his humility, praised the Lord for his supreme wisdom and justice. Ornias explains the demon's flight. Solomon continued questioning Ornias, asking, "How can you ascend to the heavens and intermingle among the stars and holy angels?" Ornias replied, "We can only glide through the air. But since we lack a foundation to rest upon, we grow weak and fall like leaves from a tree. Humans, when they see us falling, believe that stars are descending from heaven. But in truth, the stars are firmly placed on solid foundations, just like the sun and the moon." Hearing this, Solomon glorified the Lord and ordered Ornias to be detained for 5 days. The son's death and Solomon's response. After 5 days, Solomon summoned the father to inquire about his situation. The man appeared wearing mourning garments, his face dark with grief. He said, "O king, my son passed away 2 days ago. I am now childless and sit by his grave in despair." Recognizing that Ornias's prophecy had come true, Solomon glorified the God of Israel, for only he knows all things in advance. This story of the father and son not only demonstrated Solomon's power in dealing with spirits but also served as a poignant reminder of humanity's fragility in the face of divine destiny. The Queen of the South's admiration. The Queen of the South, who had witnessed these events, was filled with wonder and glorified the God of Israel. She entered Solomon's temple and marveled at its grandeur, the altar of incense, the lampstands adorned with precious stones, and the utensils made of gold, silver, bronze, and rare woods. She admired the towering pillars intricately decorated and the sheer magnificence of the structure. The queen offered a shekel of gold, hundreds of thousands of silver coins, and valuable bronze as a contribution to the temple. Her respect for Solomon stemmed not only from his unparalleled wisdom but also from his ability to complete such a divine work, a testament to God's power and grace. Peace in the kingdom. Solomon continued to rule in peace and prosperity. The temple was completed, becoming a center of faith and admiration for people from across the world. Kings from distant lands brought tributes, and the entire kingdom lived in harmony. Yet, Solomon never forgot that all his achievements were made possible by the power and grace of the Lord, who had blessed him with wisdom and strength. A letter from the King of Arabia. King Adarez of Arabia sent a letter to Solomon, seeking his help in subduing a malevolent spirit causing deadly winds. The letter read, "O King Solomon, to whom God has granted wisdom and power, in our land resides an evil spirit in the form of a violent wind. From dawn until the 3rd hour, this wind blows fiercely, killing both humans and animals. No living being on earth can withstand it. I implore you, with the wisdom granted by the Lord, to send someone capable of capturing this spirit. If you help us, all of Arabia will submit to your rule, and we shall live in peace." Solomon read the letter and promised to consider it after 7 days. During this time, the temple of the Lord was nearing completion. The servant's mission. After 7 days, Solomon recalled the letter from the king of Arabia and summoned his servant. He instructed him as follows. Preparation. A leather flask. Solomon's powerful signet ring. Instructions. Travel to the land where the wind spirit manifests. Place the leather flask in front of the wind and use the ring to direct the spirit into the flask. Once the spirit is trapped, quickly seal the flask and secure it with the ring's power. Warning: if the spirit offers gold, silver, or treasure in exchange for freedom, do not agree. Mark the locations of any treasures revealed by the spirit, then return with the flask. The servant readied his camel, took the flask and the ring, and departed for Arabia. Capturing the wind spirit. When the servant arrived, the locals were skeptical of his mission. At dawn, when the malevolent wind began to blow, the servant placed the leather flask on the ground and held Solomon's ring at its opening. The wind spirit, unaware of the trap, rushed through the ring into the flask. The servant quickly tied the flask shut and sealed it with the ring, declaring, "In the name of the Lord Sabaoth, this spirit is bound." The servant remained in the region for 3 days to ensure the spirit could not escape. When the destructive wind ceased, the people of Arabia praised the God of Israel and honored the servant with precious gifts. Returning the spirit to the temple. The servant returned to Jerusalem with the sealed flask and the gifts from the Arabs. He placed the flask in the center of the temple. The next day, Solomon entered the temple, reflecting on the wisdom and power of God that had allowed this mission to succeed. The capture of Ephippus. Once Ephippus, the wind spirit, was captured and brought back, Solomon witnessed an extraordinary sight. The flask containing the spirit stood up on its own, walked 7 steps, then fell as if bowing in submission. Solomon asked, "Who are you?" The spirit replied, "I am Ephippus, the malevolent wind spirit of Arabia. I have the power to cause fires, destruction, and death." When Solomon asked which angel could subdue him, Ephippus answered, "Only the one true God, worshipped by the angels and to be born of a virgin, can fully subdue me." Ephippus lifts the cornerstone. Solomon then commanded Ephippus to lift the massive cornerstone, a crucial piece for completing the temple. Ephippus agreed, enlisting the help of another spirit from the Red Sea. Together, they raised the stone and placed it perfectly in position. Observing this, Solomon proclaimed, "This was not by my power but through the strength and authority of the Lord." He glorified God for granting him the wisdom and tools to complete the temple and control such powerful spirits. Abizithabad, the spirit of the Red Sea. Ephippus brought another spirit from the Red Sea, Abizithabad, before Solomon. When questioned, Abizithabad declared, "I am a descendant of an archangel who once sat in the first heaven. I instigated Pharaoh to defy Moses and pursued the Israelites across the Red Sea, where I was submerged and trapped when the waters returned." Solomon used his ring to seal Abizithabad and Ephippus, assigning them to hold up the massive pillar of the temple. Both spirits vowed, "We will not release this pillar until the end of the world. But when this stone falls, it will mark the beginning of the world's end." The fall of Solomon. After the temple was completed, Solomon enjoyed peace and prosperity. However, he made a grave mistake. He married many women from foreign lands, including the daughter of the Jebusians. Enamored with her beauty, Solomon was persuaded by the priests of Moloch to worship foreign gods. Initially, Solomon resisted. But out of love for his wife, he eventually gave in and performed a small ritual, crushing 5 grasshoppers in the name of Moloch. This seemingly minor act caused the Spirit of the Lord to depart from him, leaving Solomon in spiritual darkness. In his weakened state, Solomon built altars for Baal, Moloch, and other pagan gods, enslaving himself to idolatry in the influence of evil spirits. Solomon's final testament. In his anguish and regret, Solomon wrote his testament to serve as a warning to future generations. O generations to come, listen carefully. Do not be like me, who began with glory but ended in disgrace. Do not let desire and weakness draw you away from the Lord. Remember the final things, not the first, so that you may find eternal grace. Thank you for watching this video to the end. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Sacred Journey and turn on notifications to stay connected with our weekly content. Together, let us draw closer to the Lord. See you in the next video.